So welcome back, episode number 3, No Cap Sports, man. I'm coming to y'all live with the Candace Parker episode. We know she fresh off a WNBA championship, bringing it back to the city of Chicago, man, her hometown. So with that, bro, we're gonna go and get this episode rolling. Josh, make it do what it do.
Man, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, man. I ain't seen y'all little ugly ass faces in a minute. Now, it's always an event when I do. So coming in with that five, this is a collaborative effort that we do shooting this podcast. I want to get y'all a little bit more involved in the five segment. So that being said, I want to bring out a new game, a new segment called Stand on That. This segment, I will ask you guys for your opinion on music, one overrated artist, one underrated artist, and one artist you think you feel would do better in another generation. So
You go
You
first.
go first, bro.
I got my overrated. I haven't got an underrated yet, but you go first.
I'm gonna start with the overrated just to get the hate out of my system. Don Tolliver. He's somebody that I know Nick likes a lot. I don't know how big a fan you are, but definitely just shows the character of music, the type of person that you are that you listen to him consistently. He sounds a lot like Travis Scott to me. I'm not the biggest Travis Scott fan, so apparently that's blasphemy out here in Houston. But I really don't care that much. And Don Tolliver just seems to be a watered down version of that. He makes a lot of radio hits. I would not argue that he's not currently successful. I know that I think that he made the XXL freshman list, I believe. But even if he didn't, he's still one of the young up and coming rappers / singers in this era. But I just really don't like his sound. Like I said, he has a lot of radio hits. His voice and the beats that he chooses, they all just seem very generic to me. So the lane that he's kind of in right now, kind of the sing-songy guy, making ubiquitous and universal hip hop R&B, it's kind of oversaturated right now. And honestly, if you're not Drake, I'm not really gonna listen to it, honestly. So yeah, Don Toliver, he gets that overrated stamp from me. Underrated, somebody that I know we're all personally familiar with, and I would hope that we're fans of, Kivo Money. Obviously he's an artist from Memphis. He's been on the scene now. His first breakout single was 2018 with a "Don't Tell Me" featuring Action Pack AP, and he's somebody that I think he really does it all, and he deserves a little more national recognition and more recognition from like the billboards and things like that in terms of getting his music streams essentially. So he's like one of the best storytellers in the game so far. He's very emotional. He brings a lot of sadness and not tears, but I mean it is a little bit of tears. It's kind of like a sing-songy R&B type of vibe that it gives you. But he still can make like party bangers. Like just to mention that the first song that I talked about, his breakout single, "Don't Know Me" with Action Pack AP, like that was like a certified party starter, get the club going type of banger. So he's able to do a variety of different things. And I can definitely say right now, I would take Keep Money over Ride Wave just because of the music that they make, the personal experience that I had with his music, just going up and down my playlist. I had more Keep Money in my playlist than Ride Wave. And obviously, I think I'm going to be a little bit biased coming from Memphis, but the overall quality of music, I just enjoy more than his. So that was an artist that I compared him to just to kind of gauge the level of recognition, the amount of fame that he has. And those two artists, they're in terms of the music, are very similar. Like I said, I would put Kivo's over Rod Wave, but the recognition and the fame is nowhere near the same. So based on that reason, I definitely think that he's underrated. So yeah, I think Kivo Money is somebody that's been bubbling in the city for a while. And I think his time is, if not now, very soon in terms of him having that breakout hit and him being introduced to a national audience. Somebody that I've been not recently put on to about a couple of years, but definitely has a very drawn out lane and audience. Larry June. Obviously, he's from the West Coast, from California, and his vibes, his beats, and his voice, all real laid back, chill stoner music. Essentially, that's what he's made for. He doesn't shy away from that imagery, and it's definitely music that is enjoyed best while consuming cannabis. I don't think that's an unfair statement to say, but just the general vibe that he gives off. I think he would have been perfect in that '90s, like that West Coast feel with the G Funk, the Snoop Dogg's, and the Dr. Dre's, and that whole Chronic era. Just because that's the sound that he's producing right now. It's definitely a sound that it's not as popular now as it was back then. And with the hip hop in general, but also the emergence of the West Coast being a dominant force in hip hop back then, I think that he probably would have been more notorious and more famous if he was making the same music that he makes now back then. Just like imagine Snoop Dogg with a Larry June feature or Larry June or Dr. Dre beat. I think that those are magical hits for success. And while he is gaining traction nationally, I don't hear a ton of people talking about him, but he's definitely building up some buzz. And I don't think it's fair to call him not underrated or not. I wouldn't want to even call him underrated, but a street artist or a bubbling artist. He isn't somebody that has reached like national acclaim. Somebody that's gonna be instantly recognizable on social media. Yeah, like Larry June, late '90s hip hop, and on the West Coast, I think that he would have been somebody that we look in terms of like Warren G to be like, man, this guy delivered classic hits, classic albums, and really affected the sound and the way that music's produced. So yeah, give me y'all's list.
All right, so I'll go now. Somebody who's overrated, Josh, cover your ears, ESTG. I heard Special Again this morning, and I was just like, why do people like live and die by this song? It's not that good.
That's not one of his better songs.
I'm talking now. I let you talk already. So anyway, like I was saying, ESTG, bro, he's just overrated to me. I just don't get all the hype. You know, he cool or whatever, but everybody was like, oh, he the best lyricist, all of this. I don't see it. Out of Kentucky, give me Jack Harlow. But anyway, moving on, somebody who's underrated, very underrated. Y'all probably don't even know him. I'm gonna say Quiz for real, bro. Straight out of Atlanta. Had an album called Straight Out the Swats. 3 came out. I've been bumming that joint heavy. I don't know, bro. It's just something about Atlanta, mumble rap, whatever you want to call it. I mess with it the long way, the beats, the flow, all of that. I'll send y'all some songs later to put y'all on. But just know if y'all haven't heard Go Hard yet, song of the century, bro. Song of the century. And somebody who would have done better in the past era, I'm gonna have to go with Freddie Gibbs, bro. My man's 30, over 30, bald, making crack selling music in 2021, bro. You throw him back in the 80s, I think he would have went stupid, bro. He would have been up there with Suge Knight.
Freddie Gibbs. I like that pick. Definitely somebody that had kind of transcended eras essentially. So that was a good pick. For your Quest for Real selection, is he? I have to ask you just because your musical taste is questionable at best. Is he more Young Thug or Ola Runt? Just before I listen to these songs that you sent to me.
I mean, Ola Runt underrated too, but he more Gunna. Actually, that's not even good, bro. He more Quest for real, bro. You gotta listen to it to understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Send a song to the group chat, brother. Can't wait to hear.
All right.
Mr. Laws, your turn. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
So for overrated, I'm gonna go with Kevin Gates. And Facts. Millsaps College. I was a senior in Millsaps. Millsaps flat out gave us free tickets to go see Kevin Gates, and I still didn't go.
Me either.
I actually gave away my tickets, bro. So I'm gonna go with Kevin Gates. You know, nothing against him, bro. I just let's see, underrated, bro. I'm gonna go with I'm not even saying he's underrated to me. Maybe just because go with Giveon. And the reason I'm gonna say Giveon, because a couple weeks ago I was working the game of Alcorn. Had to drive a few hours, 4 hours, bro. The last 2 hours, I swear to God, I listened to Heartbreak Anniversary for the last 2 hours. And I had nothing to be sad about. So I'm going to give you on for underrated. A person that would do better in a different era. I'm going to go with a girl. She's a good artist. She has a top 10 song right now, but she's not even the most famous person in her family, bro. I'm going to go with Willow Smith, her with the 80s alternative rock, bro. I think she would have went crazy in the 80s, bro. So those.
I like it. I like it a lot. The Willow Smith, you know, this is why I do this show with y'all. I definitely like your guys' selection with the the artists that would have performed better in different generations, just because not everybody makes music for the 18 to 22-year-olds right now. And as much as we all kind of not stuck, but the 5 segment essentially focuses on one specific lane of hip hop. There's so much different music out there, and Willow Smith, Freddie Gibbs, those are 2 people that do have a diverse audience and make non-traditional music. So those are really good picks. Giveon, did you know about Giveon before Drake put him on that little mixtape?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
He's been downloaded for what, 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Okay, I'm somebody that likes R&B, somebody that can really people that can really sing. I've been on Giveon for a little minute too, but that was definitely his coming out party. So I gotta weed out the fakers and the bandwagon from the true R&Bers. So I'm glad to see that you're on the right side of that. Yeah, that's all I got, man. That's that 5. You feel me?
So now we got week 1 of the NBA behind us. So what we gonna do, man? We're gonna go way too early. Contenders, pretenders after 1 week of NBA action. So the first 3 teams, we're gonna look at the Lakers, Bulls, and Nets. We're gonna see if they're really contenders or pretenders for that golden ball at the end of the year. And then we got 3 more teams we're gonna look at it in terms of contenders or pretenders to make the playoffs. So let's go on and get this show rolling, and let's talk about the Lakers. See if whether they're contenders or pretenders to make it to the championship and win the championship. And we're looking at the Lakers, bro, Van's laughing. They started out 0-2 before getting a gritty win versus the Grizzlies, which came down really to Ja Morant missing a free throw in the clutch. We've seen this team have chemistry issues, AD and Dwight fighting on the bench, Rondo shooting a finger gun at a fan, and they're starting the season without Taylor Horton-Tucker, Wayne Ellington, Kendrick Nunn, and Trevor Ariza. And this is already the oldest roster in the NBA with an average age of 30 years, and they're putting a lot of pressure on the old guys to start the season. So let me ask you guys, are the Lakers a contender or a pretender to win the Larry O'Brien this year?
Let me let Van go because it's like he's gonna explode.
No, I'm not, bro. It's just as a Lakers fan, I just do not know. I'm gonna say yes for right now. I'm literally watching them play as we speak. The game is tied at 114 with 32 seconds left. AD just hurt his kneecap.
Whoa, so, for real?
Yep. It is not looking too good. And LeBron gonna have to go 0 dark 30 mode. Can he do it at age 38? I'm sure he can, but to win the championship, it's too many loaded teams, bro. He's gonna have to go through. I don't want to say no. I'm gonna let you say it, Josh.
No, don't let Josh say it. Don't let Josh say it. Let me say it. The Lakers are a pretender, brother. They not finna win. They not going to the chip.
My chest.
I'm just saying, bro. Last time we saw Russell Westbrook in the finals was what, 2012, 2014, somewhere in that range. He's not going back, brother. His name isn't even Russell Westbrook anymore, bro. When you're trending on Twitter as Russell Westbrook in your first NBA game in LA, that's not a good sign, brother. And he hasn't gotten much better since that first game. First game versus Golden State, 8 points, 4 for 13, 0 for 4 from 3. Second game, 15 points, 6 for 15 from the field, 0 for 3 from downtown. Against Memphis, 13 points, 5 for 15, 1 for 4 from downtown. Brother, I'm just sorry. You got Russell Westbrook, you got Rondo, you got LeBron, Carmelo. This just isn't a team primed to win in 2021. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe 2010, 2011. This would have been the dream team. But right now, this team is just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm trying to think of a comparative team. It's like when the Lakers went and got Gary Payton, you know what I'm saying? And Karl Malone.
Karl Malone and them.
That's what I'm saying. Like when they did all that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. When the Nets got Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, it's just not gonna work, brother. Especially with no real depth behind them. Because it's gonna come to a point in the season when you're about 40, 50 games in, where you're gonna have to start resting guys, load management, all of that. And you can't do that with an old team like this because everybody old. So I'm just saying, bro, y'all some pretenders. I wanted to be the one to tell you.
Yes. Very inspiring takes from both Nick and Vance. And as I usually do on the show, I probably have to fall somewhere in the middle. You start off this segment by saying, are they contenders to win a championship? And as long as they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're definitely contenders. Or anytime you have two of the five best players in the NBA, you're going to be contenders to win the championship. However, that contention
Anthony Davis
very
is the top
slim.
5 player. Anthony Davis is the top 5 player. I'm going to stop you right there. Anthony Davis isn't the top 5 player.
I mean, he needs for them to be, honestly, he has the ability to perform at that level. Right now, I really don't have the time or the information right here in front of me to debate you on that topic. I'll just go with top.
You didn't put him in your top 5 last week. Maybe.
I did it, but I mean, okay.
I don't think none of us did.
No, I know I didn't.
No, we actually did.
Your top 5
okay.
big?
Yes, still. He's probably top 3, actually. Big. Right.
Yeah.
Julius Randle or Anthony Davis?
Hey, bro.
It's a real question. Stats don't lie. It's a real question.
Julius Randle counting stats are good, but in terms of the impact the AD has, I don't think it's a comparison. But back to what I was saying. Like I said, as long as you have 2 of the top 10 guys in the NBA, and you have 2 all-stars on your team, 2 top-tier all-stars, not guys like a Chris Middleton, you're going to be contenders to win a championship. But that contention bid is slim and getting slimmer by the day. I think that a lot of the national media are overreacting to how bad they have looked to start of the season. It is only 4 games now. They're going to even if they go 1-3 and lose to a young and emerging Spurs team, I'm not super concerned. They get adjustments to integrate Russell to the starting lineup, and just in general to get this team going. Because, like you said, this is the oldest team in the NBA, and this is a team that isn't built to be. That isn't built to make a serious bid for the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. That being said, that's one of the biggest reasons. I mean, while they will contend for a championship, I believe they're really built to win one. Just because the start they're getting off to now kind of will put them in a similar situation to they were last year. Well, the matchups they will face in the first and second rounds will eventually be their downfall. You know, when you're having to play consistently tough teams, the first round, the second round, and then into the semifinals and the conference finals, like especially with this team, this is not a team that's going to be built to play over 100 games, which is what they would have to do to win. If they end up winning a championship, they're going to have to play over 100 games of hot, intense, high-level basketball. And I don't think they'll hold up physically, honestly. I'm not as concerned about how Westbrook has looked coming into the year so far, just because he is a bad shooter, but I don't think he's going to continue to shoot 9% from 3. He might shoot under 20% the whole year, but how bad he's been thus far, I think it's just more of him not being comfortable in that offense and Frank Vogel just finding a role to where he fits to space the floor better. Or I don't know if Chris Broussard said this to somebody else, but bringing Russell in as a super 6 man, like I don't know how comfortable or welcoming he will be to the idea, but that will probably be the best thing for this team right now. While I think they're going to be contenders still, because again, we have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, I wouldn't put them as serious contenders, and I wouldn't even put them in my top 3 of teams that are going to be competing for the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
Okay. And so next thing we're going to look at, we're going to go across the map. We're going to look at the Brooklyn Nets. So far they've started 2-2 with losses to the Bucks and the Hornets, wins versus the 76ers and the Wizards. However, as we all know, we talked about it already, Kyrie for now will not be, playing in any games, participating in any practices with the Nets because of his vaccine decision. And another decision that has impacted the Nets in a major way is the NBA's decision to crack down on
hunting fouls for the situations, unnatural moves, whether it's a move to the side or launch into the defender or a leg kick, things like that are creating that kind of contact.
It seems like this rule has taken the biggest impact on James Harden and the way he plays. And if you look at it through 4 games, he's attempted 12 total free throws. Last season, he attempted 7.3 free throws per game. So looking at the Nets right now and the struggles that, I don't know if you call it struggles, but the way they performed through the first 4 games, would you say that the Nets are still contenders or pretenders for the, you know what I'm saying, the Larry O'Brien?
I think it was a stretch for anybody to deem them not only title contenders, but title favorites, depending upon Kyrie Irving's status. And even with Kyrie Irving being gone for an undetermined amount of games, because I do believe at some point he'll return to the Nets. I don't know what type of shape or contributions he'll be in to the team, but having somebody that can roll out of bed and get you 25 to 30 points will never hurt, especially when you have two guys on your team that can undoubtedly do it already. But they're kind of, in terms of the options and acquisitions that they made, they're kind of on the level with the Lakers, but their moves made a little bit more sense if you can kind of understand what I'm saying. Went out and got big guys, the things that they're actually lacking in size. LaMarcus Aldridge, I guess that counts as an off position after he retired. You go out and get a guy like Paul Millsap that can that's switchable, can bang on the low block and on the perimeter a little bit. I don't know how much he's going to do that at age 35, but he has shown the ability to do it in the past. And one guy right now, Kevin Durant, that I think personally I had as the best NBA right now. And Kevin Durant really hurts from anywhere on the court once he gets within 35 feet. James Harden, yes, he has looked like he has been impacted by the rule change. He seems to be a runaway candidate for, and like he said, even he said the poster boy moves and the elimination of some of the ability to draw fouls that the rule really was targeted. But again, still, he's an all-NBA guy. The NBA literally just deemed him one of the 75 best players to ever play this game. I think he'll be able to adjust. And even like he did last year with Kevin Durant, with Kyrie Irving, he'll take on a bigger offensive role than he had last year. Like I said, it's simply ridiculous that we were hashing about them. They are contenders.
I would definitely say the Brooklyn Nets are contenders, but they're not runaway contenders like last season. Even when they only had 2 out of 3 stars, we all thought that they would still be contenders. And the biggest reason why is exactly what you said, Nick, the free throws, bro. And it's a big difference going from 30, 35 points from Harden to only getting 20 to 25. And he's only averaging 17 right now. And so with that being said, Harden has been and still is a true point guard of that team. His assist numbers aren't going up. So he really is losing that production from losing the fouls. With that being said, bro, their supporting cast is still good enough for them to beat anybody on any given night. But they're no longer the favorites, bro. And that was proven last season when they was beaten by the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're right there in the same tier as all those other teams that can compete. Milwaukee Bucks, my bad, Josh. I see you looking at me like I'm crazy. When they lost to the Milwaukee Bucks, I think they're right. I think there's a couple of teams in the East that can contend with them, bro. I think the Bucks are the favorites, and then Brooklyn. Then you get to the little muddy waters right there. You got I'm not gonna name the teams yet. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, that's my take on them.
Yeah, and so now we're gonna move on. We got one more team in terms of the championship pretender, and that's the Chicago Bulls. This is a team that has tried throughout the offseason, through the trade deadline last year, to build a team that can be in championship contention in the East. You look at what they did last season at the trade deadline, bringing in Nikola Vucevic. And then this offseason, they go out, bringing in DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Alex Caruso. And that's in addition to what they already had in Chicago. Looking at Zach LaVine, who put up a career high in points, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and usage percentage last season. And so all of these moves so far have paid dividends. The team started out 4-0 in week 1. It's their best start since 96, 97. So looking at this team nicknamed Chai Slam It Jam, what do y'all think about the Bulls? Are they contenders or pretenders for the Larry O'Brien?
You came up with that on the spot, or you read that somewhere?
Don't worry about it.
Again, if they, because I know y'all been saying I don't answer the question, I have to give them. Can I do pretender with?
No.
Can I do pretender with wait and see?
No.
Damn, brother.
It's way too early, brother.
Okay, you're right. Pretenders, man. Still, I really like this Bulls team, though. I'm not gonna lie. I would just say, like I said, with the acquisition of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan in the offseason, probably the most balanced starting five that they got in the league right now. We talk about Lonzo, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. Those are all three different guards that offer very different skill sets, but simultaneously their games also match up very well to each other. You got, DeMar, mid-range master, professional scorer that knows how to operate in the paint, in the mid-range, in the pinch post, things like that. You got Alonzo, somebody that's more than happy not to take a shot, more than happy to distribute, be that lob guy for LaVine, and also provide that defense and really that rebounding as well from that lead position, and also pick up the pace for this Bulls team. And you got Zach LaVine, very like a professional scorer, kind of not in the mode of a DeMar DeRozan. He's not going to be, like I said, he's not going to be creating in the pinch post in the mid range. All his stuff is Houston Rockets-esque. All going to be threes, all going to be dunks, and super excited. So then you I thought you talk about the big guards, but they still got Nikola Vucevic down there, which is he's a guy that's essentially a guaranteed 20 and 10 all night. So it's just still too early to call this team a contender. They, as much as I like this starting lineup, they don't have somebody that's a serious top tier all-star or MVP candidate, and I think that's kind of a prerequisite to being a contender essentially. So I think that they'll be really good. I think that they'll probably top out at over 50 wins this season, but being seriously considered to be to obtain the Larry O'Brien trophy, I don't see that happen. And honestly, I think the ceiling for the team is conference finals. Even. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee or Brooklyn.
Yeah, bro, they're pretenders. The only contenders in Chicago already won a championship. That's the Chicago Sky. The Chicago Bulls, they're a very good team, a very impressive. Probably if I played 2K Cool Game, I probably would pick the Bulls if I didn't have to run them, honestly, bro. That's how good they are. You can just fast break all day. They got 3 facilitators, 3 scorers. Really 4 if you count Caruso, because you can sub him in any time, bro. I think they're a star player away, bro. They're one player away, one piece away. Just like I said, I think they can make the conference finals and pieces fall right. The East is as deep as the West now, bro. That was never the case, especially when LeBron was there. LeBron left, and now the Eastern got deep, bro. So it's really anybody's game. I just think it's too many good teams. I think they'll get caught slipping somewhere along the line.
I'll say this though: if one of those 4 guys that I mentioned can take a step, I think Zach LaVine probably took his step last year, averaging over 25, and then career high that you mentioned. But Vucevic can take a step in his efficiency and his rebounding. He's already averaging over 12 a game, or he's averaged consistently over 10 a game. But if he can get into that 12 to 13 range, where a guy that we have experience.
Stop giving them vote jobs, bro. Just let it.
No, I'm for real. No, for real. If DeMar, Lonzo, or Zach
DeMar is
become an all-star, they can compete for a championship. Specifically, Lonzo or Vucevic, because they got a really solid core. Like, bro, the Hawks were championship contenders at one point, so it's like that's easily a replicable model for them to follow.
Okay, I hear you. You giving them false hope, but I hear you.
There's a lot of killers in Chicago. You might not want to piss them off.
I don't know a fun fact, bro.
Yo.
I don't know a fun fact before we move on. So our head athletic trainer, bro, he left us. Well, I ain't gonna say he left us because I wouldn't have turned down the job either. But he left us after like the 5th game, I want to say. He's now the head trainer for the Bulls, bro. D3 to the league, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, now we gonna move on to our next 3 teams, and we're gonna try to determine if these teams are contenders or pretenders to make the playoffs this season. So starting out, our first team, the Charlotte Hornets, man. They started out 3-0 after last season, losing in the play-in embarrassingly to the Pacers by over 30 points. So now this year, we're seeing major improvements across the board from Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball. And this team, like I said, they started out 3-0. They took their first L Monday night against the Celtics in OT. But this team is looking like something this year. So do you guys think they're contenders or pretenders to make the playoffs this season?
Obviously. And I think the one aspect in that in that situation is Brittany Renner. You know, when you got somebody that's got some baggage that you're playing with, and I know PJ Washington is listening to that Don Tripp song. I just want to see my son every game day. You know, it just brings a little extra oomph to it. So yeah, I know PJ Washington is due for like 25, 15. He posts on Instagram talking about how much he missed his boy. He's still a duck in my eyes, but they're gonna be contenders for the playoffs. I don't think it's a question. Talking seriously, I mean, you know, you got LaMelo Ball, which I would say he's him and Ja Morant for best young point guard in the league right now. You got a Miles Bridges, you got a Gordon Hayward, somebody that has been a All-Star previously and can drop 20 points a night and be that consistent veteran presence for the Hornets. So yeah, they got embarrassed last year in the playing game, but I think, you know, this is a young team that's going to be making improvements. Like I said, Miles Bridges, LaMelo, these are young players. PJ Washington, seriously, these are all young players that still have a lot of developing to do. And I think that when you have guys like a Terry Rozier, like a Gordon Hayward that can feeling nice, where you're going to have that streakiness and that up and down of young players, that's enough to carry them. I mean, they was right there. They was in the 10th slot last year. They made the playing game. So I don't think it's a stretch for them to improve, to get to 45 wins and become not a solidified now, but to become to be a 7 or 8 seed or a 6 seed and miss the play-in completely. So yeah, this is one of the most exciting teams in the league right now. Excitement doesn't always mean success, but when you have a guy like LaMelo Ball, who I really don't even know what they're still on that guy is so far. That's a franchise pillar. And even if they don't have immediate success right now in terms of what they will probably be hoping for, championship contention, when you have a level of that prospect on your roster, I think they'll probably be safely in the playoffs this year.
They're not going to be safely in the playoffs. They're not even going to make the playoffs. The Charlotte Hornets are going to make the play-in and lose the play-in. I don't know who to, but whoever, I don't care if they're 7 seed, 8 seed, 9 seed, 10 seed. They got to win one game. They're not going to do it. I'm telling you right now. They will choke it.
You know they just beat the Nets, right?
That doesn't mean anything, bro. Honestly, they're gonna be a play-in team, and they're gonna lose in the play-in to whoever they play. They play, like you said, they got embarrassed last year to a Pacers team that was playing with nobody, maybe 1 or 2 starters that started the season. Their whole team injured. They lost to Sabonis. Sabonis is a great player. Don't get it twisted, bro. But the Charlotte Hornets, I just don't see it in them. It's possible for them to make the playoffs, bro. It's just bro. They need leadership. They got exciting young players, like you said, Josh. That doesn't mean they're gonna win. They need a leader, bro. Maybe a vet, just one vet. Gordon, I don't think Gordon Hayward's that vet.
Yeah, I think you bring up a very good point with that, Vance, the lack of leadership. But on that same token, I think their embarrassing loss last year gave them some fuel into this year, especially at the start. We see how they started, blew out Brooklyn. And I think that can carry them throughout the season, especially once they get to that play-in situation again, because I agree with y'all. I think this is a play-in team, but I think that experience from last year will prime them for this year, and I think they'll make the playoffs and win that 1-2 games, whatever they need to do to make the playoffs this season. And so now we're going to move on, and next we got the Sacramento Kings, brother. This is a team that finished 12th in the West last season, haven't been to the playoffs since 2006. This is also a team that has started 1-2 and has suffered back-to-back losses to Utah and Golden State, 2 very good Western Conference teams, I will say that. But I will also want to throw this in. This team that features Darren Fox put up career numbers last year, 25 points on 47% shooting with 7 assists and 3 rebounds last season. Centerpiece of this team. Some people say he's better than Ja Morant. I don't agree with that. But looking at this team, a team that hasn't been to the playoffs since 2006, contenders are pretenders to make the playoffs this season.
Series pretenders. I kind of feel the same way I did in the Brooklyn segment in terms of don't even really see the relevancy in this team being discussed. Darren Fox, amazing numbers, amazing counting stats. Don't really agree with him being, like you said, on that level, being better than Ja Morant, but I definitely think he's on that level with him and LaMelo Ball in terms of future stars of this league and top young point guards in the league right now. But just in terms of organizational structure, have 4 guards that getting playing time right now in terms of Davion Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, Darren Fox, and Buddy Hield. And none of those guys are going to be guys that are going to be able to receive the attention and the shots that they need just because they're juggling all four of them. And Deion Mitchell is a shot first guy per se, but all of those guys are guys that like if they was on 2K, I bet they do have it on 2K. They have the volume shooter badge. These are not guys that you're gonna have come off the bench. They're gonna go 6 for 7 or 3 for 3. These are guys that have to get into the flow of the game, get into the rhythm of the game. You need to be touching the ball on offense to make an offensive impact. I know Darren Fox and Deion Mitchell are plus defenders. Tyrese Halliburton, I think he is as well. I haven't watched that much Kings basketball, but I know Buddy Hield is not. So this is truly just a bet on how bad the Kings are as an organization. They've been going through the Marvin Bagley debacle in terms of him just being banished from the rotation, which is very weird just because if you did want to trade him in the offseason, why would you not put him in the rotation and kind of show off his trade value because he is uber talented and he is a former number 2 overall pick. And I think a lot of teams could benefit from something like that. And you could add a valuable piece to your team. So I think they had the talent to be a playoff team. And again, this Kings franchise has been a laughingstock of not only the NBA but in professional sports for too long. So they're gonna need more than Deion Mitchell to convince me they're headed for the playoffs.
Sacramento Kings last season, towards the end of the season, was one of the more successful teams in the NBA. With that being said, bro, I honestly like the direction that they're going in. They do have too many guards, bro, but it's a positionless league, bro. I feel as if they can use Raquan Holmes and Tristan Thompson. Just have one big. And the one guy that I think is going to take the next step is Harrison Barnes. And I know it's been a long time coming, bro. How long has he been in the league? About 5, 6?
More than that.
Okay, bro, but it's never too late to make an impact. Right now, he's averaging 28 and 10. That's power forward on that team, bro. And so when you have a up and coming big like Raquan Holmes, only 26. The nucleus of their team is young. I think they have a higher ceiling right now than the Hornets. And I honestly, the exact same team. I think they're both going to be right there in the play-in. But I think the Kings have a better young nucleus, bro. They're more skilled. That's what I would say. I would say P.J. Washington, Miles Bridges, they're great athletes, players. But I think in terms of just strictly basketball, give me De'Aaron. Give me Davion Mitchell. Give me Buddy Hield. Give me Tyrese Halliburton, bro. I think they have the skill set and the players to at least get in the play-in. I think once they get in the play-in, they're as talented as anybody with those guards that they have in their team. I'm gonna say they're contenders.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I think this Kings team is a contender, a serious contender for a rebuild, that is, not for the playoffs. So with that, man, you look at their offseason moves, they're dangling Buddy Hield and trade talks. They almost sent him to the Lakers. He would have been a Laker if they didn't acquire Russell Westbrook. So I think looking at this, bro, I think these Kings, yes, they're starting to see some things click, starting to see some guys fit into their roles, but I don't think this is a playoff team yet, especially looking at all the talent in the West. The Warriors are back. The Minnesota seems to be putting it together as well. I think it's just going to be harder to win games in the West, and I think because of that, the Kings will suffer. And so, the last team we're going to look at in terms of making the playoffs, a contender or pretender, is the Portland Trailblazers. And this is a team that has had consistent playoff appearances since bringing in Damian Lillard. However, they've also had consistent early exits in the playoffs. So with that happening, they decided to part ways with Terry Stotts, brought in Chauncey Billups as their new head coach, and they started this season 1-2 so far. They've got a blowout win over the Suns. However, they also have losses to the Kings and Clips. Coming into this season, they pretty much kept the roster the same, decided to run the backcourt of Lillard and McCollum back again just to see what they could get out of it. And so with that, I just want to ask you guys, are these Blazers contenders or pretenders for the playoffs?
I think obvious contenders. Like you said, they've run it back with essentially the same nucleus that has been in playoff contention and even reached a Western Conference semifinal. When you have a top 10 guy in the league right now, I find it very hard to believe that not only that are you and contention for the playoffs, but possibly a title. And Damian Lillard is that guy. I think it's between him and Steph right now for the most scary, the scariest threat from that point guard position. And we've seen what Damian Lillard can do when they get down to Dame time. So I don't think it's a discussion. CJ McCollum has continued to ascend in the past 4 seasons, and it looked like he's leveled off as somebody that can consistently give you 20 points a game. Don't really like the pairing of those two guards in terms of a championship contending backcourt, but that's not the question. The question is, can they be comfortably in the playoffs? And I think they can. You still got, like you said, you still have most of the same pitchers. You have a Robert Covington. You have a Joseph.
Washed.
What?
He's washed.
Who?
Robert Covington.
I mean, brother.
He's averaging 4 points and 5 rebounds.
He's not there to score, brother. He's there to defend.
He's supposed to be the 3rd best player or 4th best player. He's a starter. You got
Nurkic is definitely. I mean, again,
you gotta give me starter stats, bro. That's not starter stats.
Brother, first of all, we're not gonna hate on somebody that attended HBCU off rip.
If he's not getting buckets, contributing to winning basketball, I don't
he's
care
not
who you
there
are,
to
where
get
you
buckets. He's there to bang and play
He's a
defense.
3-point shooter,
Who else
right?
gonna
He's a
get the
3-point
buckets?
shooter.
He's their version of PJ Tucker. Like, what are y'all expecting from him?
Who else is gonna get the buckets for them? PJ give you 10.
What are you talking about? Who's
Especially
gonna get
when
buckets for the
especially when
Trailblazers?
Dame, CJ, who's gonna
Norman
get
Powell was just playing against the Warriors.
He got hurt.
He must have hurt in that game.
Yeah.
Y'all was talking real spicy about the Kings, bro. If it's one game in the playoffs, bro, it's a play in Portland versus Sacramento. Who y'all got?
Bro, that's not even a question. Portland. Damian Lillard has really been struggling from the 3. He's shooting under 25% from 3 so far this season. And I think we all realize that that's not a trend that's going to continue. So, yes, they're not off to the best. Shut up, Vance.
No, you shut up, bro. I'm telling you, this team, they suck. They suck.
So they're not gonna make the playoffs. That's what it is. Damian Lillard is not gonna make the playoffs.
James is pulling a James Harden right now. What he did last season, playing real crappy at the beginning of the year, he trying to get up out of there. CJ can't hit out for Dame, bro.
He's the type of taste that.
Who you got? Nurkic? I'm gonna give you 10 and 10. That's cute. Player on that team, just tell me.
This is a league that, at the end of the day, that is based off talent and bucket getters.
What talent is
Portland? What are you talking about, Vance? They have 2 of the best scorers in the league right now, in Dame and CJ.
2 scores, bro, but it's like, what else are you gonna give me?
Brother, we're talking about playoff contention. We're not talking about can they win a chip? Can they go to the Western Conference Finals?
They not gonna make it.
You are crazy if you don't think they can get it within the top 8 of the Western Conference.
They're not gonna make it.
They're not making the playoffs. Say that right now and bet me some money right
the
now.
The Portland Trailblazers are not going to make the playoffs.
Put $50 on it.
I bet this. The Sacramento Kings have a better record than Portland. Sorry asses.
Ooh.
Put money on that right now. And you better not edit this out, Nick. Put money on that right now.
How much you want to put on there?
Put 50. I need me an easy 50 piece.
Okay, bro. That's going to be an easy 50.
The first no cap sports wager. You feel me? Open for business. $50 on the Portland Trailblazers having a better record than the Sacramento Kings.
And when Portland trades Dame around Christmas time, I don't want to hear nothing about I want my money back. Cry about it.
If they want to trade, if they was gonna trade Dame, they're gonna trade him in the offseason.
No.
When all the rumors were happening, and he wanted to go to LA. No.
All right, bro.
This is not the same situation that James Harden.
He's been
committed. He has stated several times that he's committed to
Dame for Kyrie. Dame for Kyrie. Brooklyn gonna say no.
No.
Portland would not take that trade.
Yes,
Portland would not take that trade.
He don't got to be vaccinated to hoop in Portland.
Portland would not take that trade if Kyrie was averaging 25 right now.
All right, bro. I hear you. You wrong.
You hear me, but are you listening?
You wrong, but I hear you.
When I get this little 50 piece, when Darren Fox
Kings are better than them, flat out, top to bottom.
I know that you like to be different, Vance, but this is taking it way too far.
Nah, this ain't about being different. It's just facts.
Okay.
This is the truth. All right, y'all. I got a couple of true false questions real quick for y'all. First question: if Kemba Walker can still be a top 10 point guard in the NBA, true or false?
False. False.
Can he? True, because he look like it's night, but consistently, no. So can he? True.
All right. Ben Simmons will play in an NBA game before Christmas. That's
True.
2 months from now. James Harden is a less effective player because of the new foul rules. True or false?
True. Until he
True.
adjusts, that is. I think he can adjust to the rules, but right now he's very.
You think he will adjust to them?
I think it's going to take him a while, but I think it's going to take him and the refs a while. Because I want to say it is 2 parts. I agree with James Harden when he said he feels like he's the poster boy. And I think if you look at it, there are some fouls that need to be called and some fouls that don't need to be called. And he's not necessarily getting the ones that need to be called.
All right.
I think he can adjust too, and but it definitely has reduced. I mean, one of the biggest part of his game was drawing contact and getting to the free throw line. He does a very good job at it in the paint as well, but a lot of it was predicated on jumping into defenders and playing the ugly style of basketball on the perimeter. So, like Nick said, until he adjusts, which I anticipate him doing, he definitely is more or less effective right now.
True or false? The Lakers would have a higher ceiling without Russell Westbrook on the team.
False. Even if he isn't the best fit, and I will still prefer Buddy Hield to be in the LA. He's just too talented. And Frank Vogel, he has a work cut out for him as his coach to try to figure out the best way to integrate the Russell to this offense. But you don't add somebody as talented as Russell Westbrook, and your ceiling gets lower. So false.
True. There are way better point guard fits for that Lakers team. People who don't need the ball as much as Russell Westbrook and people who are way more efficient than Russell Westbrook who would fit better in LA and raise their ceiling. I think if Rondo was the starting point guard and Russell Westbrook wasn't there, this team would have a higher ceiling.
All right. True or false? The Bucks
Wait,
should be considered the favorites to win the NBA Finals right now.
False.
True. Reigning NBA champions. Best, most dominant finals performance we've seen in the past half decade. And the league is crazy right now. So until we have somebody that's clearly better than them, it's going to be true.
All right. Last question is not true or false, but it's leading to the next segment. If we were to redo the 2019 NBA draft, where would Zion Williamson be drafted?
First.
I think if you look at the drafts, I think Zion Williamson would be drafted number 4.
Shut up, man. Shut up, bro. Shut up.
RJ Barrett, Kevin Porter Jr., then Zion Williamson.
Oh, my God. Let me just ask you something, Nick. As much as you dislike Zion, and yes, he is built like a nose guard. Not even a 3-tech, because there are more athletic 3-techs.
He built like Boogie McFarland.
Reuse joke. It would have hit harder a couple months ago. Only one guy from the 2019 draft has been named the All-Star, and that's Zion Williamson. So, and I know we're going to get into his,
All-Stars are popularity, so, I mean, I don't really care about that, but continue.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but we got a guy averaging 25 and 8. And
we also got a guy who's played 85 total games through 3 seasons so far. Well, 2 seasons and just started the 3rd one, not playing. So you tell me who you'd rather have.
Well, I'd rather have Ja Morant, but higher ceiling, even right now, Zion. And the draft.
Ja Morant, no.
You didn't love something.
Nah, bro. I mean, are we going to talk about this now? Here's the thing. Because as much as I love Ja Morant, I literally got my Big 12 shirt on right now for Ja. I ain't going to spoil Nick's pick, but he's definitely somebody that, he's leading the NBA in scoring right now. Like, all the praise and recognition and MVP stuff he's getting, well-deserved. But we have seen iterations of Ja Morant before. People talk about it all the time. Russell Westbrook, Allen Iverson. No, these are guys that have been similar, that have similarities to Ja Morant.
Guys who have won MVP before, if I don't remember.
Facts. But
so anyway, like I was saying,
Zion
this
Wilson
is about Zion
No. What Zion Wilson is and what he's done,
he is 300
we do not
pounds.
see that.
What he's
we
done
have not
is
seen
not
that
playing
before.
NBA games.
Charles Barkley doing exactly what he was doing.
No, brother, no. Even in terms of weight-wise, Charles.
Everything the same. Everything.
No. Charles Barkley was not. Charles Barkley did not have a 45-inch vertical. I'm sorry. Charles Barkley, no, that's not true. But Zion Williamson is right now, and the physicality and the amount of skill level that he combines with that is something that the NBA has not seen before. That is why he can play in an NBA game probably at over 300 pounds and be still selected, can be consistently productive and be selected as an all-star. So yes, he's off injured. He's probably out of shape. I don't think he's gonna reach this ceiling in terms of Hall of Fame top 5 players that people have projected from, just because those are impossible expectations.
But that don't make sense though.
We have seen what the best case scenario for somebody that looks like John Morant is, which
NBA
MVP level is very good. We do not know. We do not know the ceiling for what a healthy is.
They haven't seen it. You're right. Chris Broussard said John Morant is the real jewel of the 2019 draft class. You want to bring outside opinions in, make your own opinions. I brought one in. I'm being honest with you, bro. Zion would be drafted 4th in the draft if they redrafted it to tomorrow. Ja would go first. RJ Barrett would go second, because we've seen what RJ did with the Knicks. I think he's made some strides this year even more. Kevin Porter Jr. would go 3rd. He went 30th in the draft at first, but we've seen what Kevin Porter Jr. is capable of, and Zion would go 4th. Availability is an ability.
Availability is a skill, but when you're talking about I'm just saying in terms of tier levels, and that's something that, as much as it hurts my heart, the very best that Zion Williamson can be, which is what we're talking about in terms of a redraft, which is going to draft off potential. I mean, obviously, with this redraft, we're knowing about his availability, but these teams still at the top of the draft are going to be drafting off what is the best case scenario for all of these guys. And the best case scenario for Zion Williamson, I don't care what either one of y'all say, it's not no damn playoffs. It's something
missing the playoffs.
A scary combination.
He hasn't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Okay.
Jordan Poole over Zion Williamson.
Yeah, niggas done.
You
go to the next topic. I don't think we're gonna.
What's the next topic, bro? I see we getting on Josh Nurse. What's the next topic?
How? Okay, so he wasn't. So New Orleans was supposed to make John Morant the first pick.
No. You said next topic.
We're not talking about how.
You said next topic.
That he wasn't one of the most dominant college basketball players ever. Like, what are we talking about here?
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Jimmy Fredette was one of the most dominant college basketball players we have seen. He in China right now.
Adam Morrison.
Zion on his way soon. Oh wait, he can't fly because he's too heavy for the plane. I'm done talking about it, bro. I'm done talking about it.
Y'all are crazy.
We seen Sean Kemp. We seen Charles Barkley. We seen Julius Randle.
Okay. Sounds good.
We seen Blake Griffin. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, guess what? All the things that y'all have said, and only one guy from that draft class has been an all-star. So, yes. Not only do I, but the league seems to bet high on Zion's potential.
No, guess what I can do? I can pick up my phone, go to Google, send a text to the little number, and vote for Zion Williamson getting the all-star game. You know how many little kids did that? I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, John Morant is not insanely popular. Like, he's in multiple NBA
brother,
teams.
Do you know how many
good
guards are in the West? CP3, Steph Curry, who else in the West?
Luka Doncic.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. It's all these good guards in the West. It's not as many good bigs in the West.
Damian Lillard.
Yes, Damian Lillard, CP3, Devin Booker, all these good guards. Paul George. Come on, bro.
Again, I'm probably one of the biggest John Morant fans.
No, you're not, bro.
I think he's gonna be an all-star this season, brother. No, y'all are not gonna overtalk me about this thing.
You said next time.
I think Zion is better.
I mean, well, we keep talking about it, so we might as well keep on with this conversation.
I want to talk about it, bro. You said Zion, but you always been anti-Memphis, bro.
No, I'm not.
You must be from me and I'm from Memphis, bro, because you really anti.
You're not because I'm sensible.
You said Jokic is Larry Bird. That's not sensible.
And guess what said? Greg Popovich. So,
oh my goodness,
I don't care about what you two coons have to say about it. I have, and I said it before. If you really want to know about it, so
Hey,
Hey, bro,
little
look
white
at
men. That's
y'all go to
crazy.
y'all the ones that attend the PWIs. I go to HBCU, so don't question my
That don't
loyalty.
mean nothing.
Anyways, next topic, bro.
I'm
So-
say something to your ass, man. That's all right. We'll go to the next topic.
Next topic, bro. We've been doing a lot of talking. You know what I'm saying? 2019 draft class, guys who broke out, guys who didn't break out. But now we're gonna talk about this NBA season. Who is a guy that y'all think will break out this season and really come onto the scene and assert himself as a, you know what I'm saying, a premier player in this league? And I'll go first, give y'all a little example. I gotta go with Miles Bridges. His rap career broke out this summer. Really, over the pandemic, we've heard the bars he's got, and he's in a contract year this season. You know what I'm saying? He's up for a re-up on his deal, and he's playing with something to prove. Simple as that. Looking at it right now, he's averaging 25 points, shooting 35.7% from three with 2.8 assists, 8.5 rebounds. He's really hooping this year. All of his numbers are up. You know, it's only been 4 games, but all of his numbers are up. And if he keeps this pace, he'll hit a career high in minutes per game, starts, shot attempts, 3-point attempts, and usage percentage. So with the way it's going right now, early on for Miles Bridges, I think this guy's finna assert himself as one of the dominant players in the Eastern Conference.
I like that pick. I'm gonna go with a guy from the 2019, probably the gem from the 2019 draft, and that's Jordan Poole. Right now, he's averaging 17 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Great summer, bro. He's basically replacing Klay Thompson. Golden State is currently 3-0. He's shooting the ball very well. Probably going to end up being the sixth man once Klay gets back, or if not the starter until Klay gets healthy. His stats really are similar to his play style is similar to CJ McCollum, bro. Can shoot the lights out, can score from everywhere on the court. I'm gonna go with Jordan Poole as my breakout player.
I like it. I'll go another young high upside guy from the 2019 draft, somebody that I really liked since high school. And this is just another thing me betting on talent and upside. And I guess guys that seem to be injured. I don't know. Maybe that's part of my steez. But Cam Reddish, 10th pick in that aforementioned 2019 draft class. Hasn't been struggled with consistency at Duke, struggled with his shot as well. And he's the typical boomer bust guy. And for the first couple seasons of his career, it looked like he was gonna be a bust, not gonna lie. You know, they selected him and DeAndre Hunter and in that 2019 draft, and DeAndre Hunter has been unquestionably the more productive guy 2 years into the career. But Cam Reddish broke out in a major way in the Eastern Conference Finals last year versus Milwaukee. Averaged 12 points a game after only being able to play 26 games the entire season, and then 11 DNP CDs leading up to that Eastern Conference Finals. For him to be able to step in immediately as a young guy and to contribute, and had that game 6 where he 21 points, 67 from 3, and kind of being fully realizing his potential, even if it wasn't for those 48 minutes, and just kind of showcasing to the league essentially what the best case scenario for him is for him. He's a prototypical wing and one of the guys in the mold of something that the future of this NBA is going to look like. So, betting high on the talent, betting high on the upside, really taking in consideration that Game 6 performance, and then around the league, he's been one of the hottest discussed names in terms of trade rumors. So when people are talking about acquiring, when more than half of the league and the GMs are trying to see what Atlanta can give you for them, I think that more than anything else speaks to how highly valued he is around the league and what other teams think of his potential.
And so now we're going to move on to some way too early, some more predictions. But this time we can get into the rookies, get into the MVP race a little bit, but we're going to start with the rookies. So right now, make your claim for who wins Rookie of the Year. I'll go first, and I'll say Evan Mobley is my Rookie of the Year. If I had to call it today, he's looked good, just about as good as any rookie so far through the first week of NBA action. Looking at his first 4 games, he's putting up 14.3 points, 80.3 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal a game. And this is a guy who showed his versatility on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively, being able to switch out on the perimeter. There was a clip going around of him surviving on the island with Trae Young, blocking the shot, looked really good moving laterally. And on offensively, he's shown his versatility because he's been playing a lot of minutes alongside Jared Allen. And 2 7-footers in the paint isn't going to work. So he's had to go to the perimeter, find offense outside the paint, and he's looked pretty good in doing that. So I think, especially if the Cavs can, string some wins together, they're 2-2 right now. But I think if they can, have a fairly successful season and continue on the route they're going, I think Evan Mobley will win Rookie of the Year.
I think that's a solid selection. Like I said, just in terms of how big of a fan you were of Jalen Green in the pre-draft process, just surprised you didn't go with him, especially what he did versus the Celtics last night, dropping 30 and hitting 8 threes. But your opinion, you're entitled to it, brother. But I'm gonna go with Scotty Barnes again. I guess it shows how alternative we are as a show. I don't know what Vance is gonna say, but I don't think even none of us have mentioned Cade Cunningham thus far. But anyways, Scotty Barnes, he has probably put up the best performance by a rookie so far, just because Jalen Green came in a loss. You can hit the argument for Chris Duarte just because you cross over a MVP, you get some reps in my book. But Scotty Barnes, one of the most well-rounded guys. I don't know if you remember this, Vance. I definitely remember this. We were having the Twitter space when the draft was going on, and I think most of us assumed, a lot of people assumed that are smarter than us or more in tune to the industry than us, that the first four was going to be Cade, Jalen, Mobley, and then Jalen Suggs. So, when we were on when Toronto selected Scotty Barnes over Jalen Suggs, I think a lot of people were shocked and confused just because he kind of really overlaps what Pascal Siakam can do. But I think that, he's shown himself to be a lot more versatile and a lot more ready to play than what a lot of people thought he was going to be, including myself. And one of the biggest weaknesses in the pre-draft process that was discussed about him, his jumper does not look as bad as it was advertised to be. He shoots 70% from three. He hit pull-up jumpers against Boston, hit some standstill threes. And if he can shoot consistently or not be a Russell Westbrook level of horrendous, I definitely think that this is a guy that can throw up multiple All-Stars. Talk about, again, I just discussed it with Cam Reddish. You're looking, the future of the NBA is jumbo-sized wings that can function as primary ball handlers and defend multiple positions. And Scotty Barnes, defensively, is somebody that you can throw on a top scorer right now. And with 6'9", 7+ foot wingspan, and the ability to slide and move his feet. And we throw this out too often, but he's a guy that can legitimately guard 1 through 5. So this is a guy as a rookie that you can throw on a Luka, a KD, a LeBron, a Giannis, and he can more than hold his own. So defensively, I think kind of what I think Nick is angling towards his Evan Mobley pick. I think that'll probably be his biggest factor. It's something that a lot of rookies are going to struggle with day one is being able to contribute on that side of the floor. But offensively, like, again, 6'9", functioning as the point guard for Florida State, and he kind of like what we say about Giannis. He's really sweaty on the offensive end. Like, he's not the most skilled guy, but in terms of being active around the rim, being able to create at a pick and roll, and just having those hustle opportunities, I really like it. And that effort is something that you can't really coach. Either you have it or you don't, and Scotty Barnes has it in abundance. So I think that combining with how impressive he's been so far, how well I see him continuing to be, and then with his contributions, how successful I think Toronto can be, I think all of those add up to him being my Rookie of the Year.
I like those. I'm really surprised nobody took the top 2 picks, bro. Feels like a gimme. I honestly thought y'all was going to go with that, so that's why I picked this guy. But Kobe Bean Bryant, Devin Booker, Donovan Spider Mitchell. You know what they all have in common?
What's that?
They all were drafted 13th overall in the NBA draft. And my Rookie of the Year is going to be, he was drafted 13th overall in the NBA draft, and that's Chris Durante out of Oregon. So 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 45% from the three-point line, and he's a third leading scorer on the Pacers, even ahead of Miles Turner. And so I just really like what I see from him. He's a primary ball handler behind Malcolm Brogdon, but they're depending on him a lot. And I think he's really stepping up to the challenge. He's going to be able to get them to the playoffs. And I'm gonna have to go with Rookie of the Year. If you give 20 points as a rookie, that's all-star status almost. Like, you're right there on that tier. Like, Ja didn't even give you 20 as a rookie. Like,
He hadn't done it yet.
that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna have to go with Chris Durante, 13th overall pick.
I like it, Vance. I like it a lot. Honestly, just in my note taking process, it was between him and Scotty Barnes, just because a lot of the things that you threw out. And then when you're making highlight plays, crossing up the reigning MVP, you get a gold star in my book. So he's 24, feels like he's 34 with the old man game that he has and his ability to create off the bounce without needing a screen. So yeah, he was one of my favorite players in the draft. So. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up being the rookie of the year, especially at that hollow 13th spot that you described.
Mm-hmm. And so now, moving on, looking bigger picture. First week MVP predictions. I'm gonna go first. I gotta go with Ja. Some people in the chat gonna hate me because they swear to God Zion gonna come back and win MVP or something, but it's not gonna happen. So far, Ja's gotten the Grizzlies off to an amazing 2-1 start, and if you look at his totals over the first 3 games, see 37 points, 6 assists, 28 points, 8 assists, 40 points, 10 assists. Ja came back with a vengeance, brother. He's shown more confidence shooting the ball, averaging 6 3-point attempts per game, a major up over last season. So now when defenders go under the screen, trying to anticipate the drive, trying to play the drive, he's popping threes, hitting threes with confidence. And this game has taken major improvements to take him to the next level as a star. I just see him becoming the next, next big face of the NBA. And I think there's no doubt about his prowess as a top 5 point guard. He's on his way to entering that top 10 player conversation. And like you said earlier, bro, leading scorer in the league right now.
I'm gonna go with two-time MVP, the greatest point guard of all time, the greatest shooter of all time, Stephen Wardell Curry. 1 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, leads his team in all major categories statistically. He's going to lead his team to the playoffs, and he's going to get his running mate back. And that's going to be even more spacing for him. Draymond's passing the ball all around. He's going to get Clay back. Wiseman's going to come back at any time, bro. Who knows? And I'm going to have to go with Stephen Curry, bro. He's already looking good, and he's going to get his running back back, bro. It's going to be spacing all over the court for him.
I mean, I like both of those picks. There's one on a homer's tip, and then yours in terms of somebody that's kind of reclaiming that glory. But I'm about to go just a little bit of direction from you two, and I'm gonna go with Luka Doncic. He's somebody that stepped in the league right away and established himself as a top 10 player essentially in his rookie season. I think it's almost a general consensus at this point. He is the best player, the best young player in the league, and definitely the best guy under 25 in the league right now. The only thing that worries me about this pick is a little bit, I don't know how successful Dallas will be, and that's probably one of the biggest things in determining MVP voting. But yeah, he has single-handedly carried this Mavericks franchise since KP has got there, and has been underwhelming. When you have a guy that you have 2 of the best perimeter defenders in the league in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, and you throw up 35, 7, and 10 on them, this guy's a problem. He's somebody that doesn't really have a true second banana. Like I said, Kristaps Porzingis has been wildly disappointing in terms of expectations for Dallas, and it got to the point where Tim Hardaway Jr. has kind of emerged as that go-to second guy. But yeah, I think Luka Doncic is going to continue to kind of put up his dominating the paint in terms of facilitating and scoring. And I think the next step of his game is a 3-point shooting. He takes a lot of bad shots per se. I don't know that I want to say bad shots because when you're that skilled of a player, I don't know if you can take a truly bad shot, but as many threes he takes, he's not converting them at a high enough rate. And I think that if KP can kind of bounce back and Tim Hardaway can continue his ascent as somebody that looks to be a 20 points per game guy, and Dallas has some serious postseason success, I think Luka runs away with it, honestly.
As always, we got a pick'em slate, some key games, some key matchups in the NFL and college football this week, and we finna pick these games for y'all. So first game we got the 5-1 Cowboys taking on 3-3 Vikings. Dak Prescott versus Kirk Cousins.
Crazy because I saw I don't know why I say that. Probably Bucky Brooks or Dan Jeremiah. And consider they have Dalvin Cook in the backfield. the Vikings offense has been overly reliant on Dak Prescott. On Kirk Cousins, which is wild to say to me because I still think he's a top 10 quarterback in the regular season, but turn them lights on, he's a little bit meh. But regardless, I think go with the Cowboys this game. As much as I don't like Travion Diggs as a defensive number one, and then Dak has been better. He has exceeded all expectations for what we could have expected from that coming off that gruesome injury. He has his team rolling. Ezekiel Elliott looks good. His offensive line has some continuity. And then he has one of the best receiving duos in the league. Not that Minnesota does too, but they simply haven't been able to put it together as consistently as Dallas. And Dallas still has that dominant offensive line up front. So I know they're missing La'el Collins, but still you got Zach Martin, you still got Tyron Smith, and you still got I don't think Dalvin Cook is healthy for this game either. So give me Dallas.
Like I said, continuity is important. Before the season started, I said the Vikings are going to go on a slide. Only win 5 games. They already won 3, bro. So I'm going to have to rock with Dallas.
Yeah,
preserve that pick, brother. I love it.
I'm going to rock with Dallas. Dallas' offense is good. Minnesota's defense isn't good. Simple as that. Give me the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. And so now moving on to the college slate, we got number 10, Ole Miss, taking on Auburn, number 18 in Auburn. Who y'all like?
Give me Ole Miss, as much as it pains me to say that. Matt Corral, I think one of the top 2 or 3 Heisman favorites. I think justified. Somebody that has been productive all season, and Ole Miss has been using them. Ole Miss is probably the best offense in college football right now. So Auburn, they've been getting inconsistent quarterback play from Bo Nix, and that defense, just kind of like what you said with the Dallas-Minnesota game that you said very succinctly. Ole Miss offense, awesome. Auburn defense, not awesome whatsoever. So give me Ole Miss.
That's crazy. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw my verses in here now. I was going to wait, but I'm going to give you it's going to be 3 players, bro. And so y'all ready? Y'all need a pen and pencil? Y'all need to write this down?
I'm good, bro.
All right. So player A has 2,431 total yards and 26 touchdowns. Player B has 2,387 yards and 24 touchdowns. This is so far this season. Player C has 2,468 yards and 26 touchdowns.
I'm gonna keep it.
Player A has a record of 6-1. Player B has a record of 6-1. Player C has a record of 4-2. This is college football.
I mean, look, I don't need no more information, bro. I'm just keep it simple. Give me player A, more yards, more touchdowns, better record. Speaks for itself.
Him and player B got the same record though.
Player B got 100 less yards and 2 less touchdowns.
Most yards, most touchdowns, high completion percentage. I'll take player A too.
All right, since we're talking about Ole Miss, I'll go ahead and let you know that player B is Matt Corral. Any guess?
Who is player A?
Player C. I give you this. He's a non-power 5 quarterback.
Kenny Pickett. No, he doesn't have 26.
Malik Willis.
Player A is a power 5 quarterback.
Malik Willis is player C?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was player A. He's not power 5?
Player A is power 5.
So it's not Kenny Pickett.
It is Kenny Pickett.
Oh, they in the ACC. I'm tripping.
Yep. Hey, both y'all pick player A. But with that being said, Matt Corral's hurting, bro. When in that TC game that we never talked about, bro, that was the craziest game I ever seen. He was taking some licks, some hits. He was playing as hard as he could. But he still got it done against LSU. They didn't know if he was gonna play or not. But give me Ole Miss. Barry. I think it's gonna be close. High scoring, 38-35. Team with the ball last is gonna win.
Yeah, I don't have as much faith in that Auburn offense as you do. I know that Ole Miss defense is bad, but that Auburn offense isn't good. Ole Miss's offense is very good. I'm giving some real kindergarten explanations, but give me Ole Miss.
Hey, it can be as similar as that sometimes. Up and down with consistency in terms of from both Knicks. James Bitchy probably the best back in the SEC, but Snoop Connor and Jaron Ely aren't two backs to sneeze at either. So you got strength on weakness essentially.
Yeah. And so last game of our slate, the biggest game in college football this week. Number 6 Michigan traveling to number 8 Michigan State. Battle of 2 7-0 teams. I guess I'll give my prediction first, but I think this game's gonna come down to quarterback play and defense. Michigan State secondary is a major weakness. They're giving up 286 pass yards per game. And Cade McNamara, the quarterback for the Wolverines, is just now getting off his leash through the first 4 games. The highest passing attempts he had was 16. However, they started to let him off the leash, starting to let him throw more. Like I said, both these teams rely heavily on their running games, but I think that Michigan State has the advantage because their quarterback, Thorne, he's had the ball in his hands all season. He put up 261 yards, 4 touchdowns against Miami. I know that's not saying much, but they were ranked at the time. And so with that, I got to go with Michigan State. Kenneth Walker and Thorne, I think they'll get the job done.
Yes, I think that one of the most important things you said there is both of these teams have been relying upon the run because Big Ten football honestly puts me to sleep a lot. And even in this top 10 matchup, Cade McNamara and Peyton Thorne, 2 very uninspiring quarterback candidates. Probably the 2 worst quarterbacks in the top 10 matchup in a long time, honestly. But I feel like this is Kenneth Walker's Heisman moment. Victory over the top 10 team. He has been, Bijan Robinson have been going back and forth for top back in college football right now. And I think that, like you said, Nick, going back to it, the running game will be crucial for this for who wins this game because I think neither one of these offenses are truly explosive through the air, and I think they also have very stout defenses. But this is a game of margin. It is a top 10 matchup, and I like Kenneth Walker way more than Hassan Haskins. So he's been putting up consistently 20 plus yard efforts, and I think that he's from Memphis at the end of the day. So we got to ride for our people. I think at least give him one. I don't know because he's super explosive. So I'll give him 150 in the tutty, and I think that with this win, this will be his high moment, and it'll be his award to lose if Michigan State wins this game, which I predict they will.
Yeah, bro. I feel as if both of these teams are even everywhere except for the backfield. I think Michigan State has the clear advantage, bro, and that's going to be the difference in the game, bro. Better backfield play. Give me Michigan State.
Clean sweep. So no Vance. Take it over to your parlay picks, bro.
All right, for the parlay picks, I got one game in particular, bro. If you only have $20 left in your account, bro, and you need to double it, bro, this is the game. This is the one lock I'm going to give you. If you don't take any other bets, don't listen to any other bets, this is the game. And it's Wake Forest minus 16.5 versus Duke, bro. Wake Forest is ranked 13th in the country. And the reason why they're winning games is because they're scoring points. They scored 70 points last week, 40 points, 37, 37, 35, 41, 42 points. So the least amount of points they scored this season is 35 points, bro. And they're no slouch, bro. Trust me. Duke, horrible football team, bro. Horrible. Yeah, 0 points against Virginia. They lost to Georgia Tech by 27. They scored 7 points against North Carolina. North Carolina gives up points to everybody, bro. They're in shootouts in every game. Duke is just not a very good football team. Wake Forest is, bro. I think that's going to be an easy cover. Now, to go on with my other picks, bro, I did have one. I'm going to have to knock it off, so I'm not going to say it. But Coastal Carolina, I'm going to go with them minus 18.5 versus Troy. Coastal Carolina, they're coming off a loss. They're going to be pissed, bro. They want to get in a good bowl game. They're not trying to be in a potato bowl, none of that, bro. You know, being in the Sun Belt Conference, you got a winning style, bro, to keep your ranking up, bro. So I best believe they're going to come out with a vengeance trying to beat Troy. Last game, I think Michigan and Michigan State, I'm gonna take the under. The point spread is 50.5. I think it's going to be low scoring. I don't think it's going to be much scoring. There's going to be a lot of ball running, bro. So that means the clock is going to be dwindling down. I think it's going to be like 24-20. That's only 44 points, something like that along those lines. And then my last game, I'm going to go with Miami at Pitt. Like I said, Kenny Pickett's a dog. Those stats I just read out to you guys: 2,431 yards, 26 touchdowns. He scored 27, 28, 52, 77, 41 in a loss, and that was the only game that they lost this season. He scored 41 points and 51 points. Tyler Van Dyke from Miami is a good quarterback. In his last 3 games that he's been a starter quarterback, taking over for Darren 28 points, 42 points, 31 points. I think the over is definitely going to hit at 61.5.
I'm scrolling on DraftKings right now. I like that lock you got with the Wake Forest Duke game, just because 16 points seems to be very low for how bad Duke is and how explosive Wake has been offensively. So actually, brother, text me them picks after we get off here. So I'm trying to double my little money too, brother.
Facts. And so now, as always, close every episode out with our game balls. I'll hand mine out first. Gotta give it to Jamar Chase, man. Folks were doubting him after the preseason, and he's, you know what I'm saying, since the regular season started, he solidified the Bengals' decision to take him over Penei Sewell. Sunday, he had 8 receptions, 201 yards, a tutty to help the Bengals top the Ravens in a big-time divisional game, a game that also put the Bengals atop the AFC. And with that game, that's the most yards by a rookie receiver in a single game since Mike Evans in 2014. He now has 754 yards through 7 games, which is a record for a rookie receiver. And like I said, bro, Bengals on top in the AFC, Jamar Chase flexing his muscle. Love to see it, bro. Got to get a game ball.
Man, I want to give it to the Cowboys because we ain't recorded since they've been on this little win streak, or Trevon Diggs, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. This past Sunday, Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveled up to Chicago, put a spanking on the Bears, but Tom Brady threw a 600 career touchdown pass. But I'm not going to give him the game ball. I'm going to give the game ball to the guy that Mike Evans gave the actual game ball to. They had to make a little deal with him, and it did not come at a cheap price. He was given for the next 2 seasons, $1,000 credit to the team store. You know, it's just like, But the big thing that he got was 1 Bitcoin from Tom Brady himself. Bitcoin right now is worth $62K, and that's going to fluctuate. If he just keeps that Bitcoin, bro, for the next 10 years, who knows how much that could be, bro. So I think that's a big W, bro. Right place at the right time. Shout out Byron Kennedy.
That's what you call leveraging your opportunity, brothers and sisters. Didn't know that he got all that. Shout out to that dude, unless he's white, man. A little less of a shout out.
If he's sitting front row, you know he is.
Hey, don't disrespect our people like that. There's black wealth out here. It could have been I almost said a stereotypical name. It would have been a Jamario out there getting Tom Brady's game ball, but probably wasn't.
Mike would have had to throw it to the nosebleeds for Jamari.
Don't do our people like this, man. Anyways, nonetheless, my game ball comes with a little bit of narrative behind it. And I got to give it to one Deion primetime coach, Deion Sanders.
He wants to take y'all out the schedule, so you give him the game ball because he's not going to whoop me.
Who game ball is this? Yours or mine? Thank you, sir. Yes, we were supposed to play Deion last year. COVID prevented this. Was a very bittersweet moment being a guy that is from Memphis and Jackson State, being less than 2 to 3 hours down the road. It's a big opportunity, and not only just because, like I said, having that familiar, family feel and environment to the game. But yeah, it's freaking Deion Sanders, bro. Wanted to play him in his first year in the SWAC, and honestly, they were quite disappointing last year relative to expectations nationally in terms of everybody thinking that they were going to come in and just dominate this league. And it was actually quite disrespectful how bad the perception was of SWAC football going into Deion's first season. But this year, they coming out 6-1, undefeated in SWAC play, and he has his son at quarterback, and they've met all the expectations of what people thought they were going to be for last year, really. However, there is only one other team in the SWAC that is undefeated in SWAC play and holds a 6-1 record, and that would be the Prairie View Panthers, which I just happened to go to and play for them. So that's something that I'm really appreciative. Deion has been kind of setting expectations, kind of been talking a lot of trash, throwing his weight around the swag for since he got it here, essentially. So I want to give the game ball to Deion Sanders, for bringing exposure, shining a light on HBCUs, and doing the whole spill about bringing us about importance and bridging the resources gap, but also being the sacrificial lamb for what is a special PV run. Because when we get in the SWAC championship, we are kicking they ass, no doubts about it. So thank you, Deion, for setting the stage for a very competitive SWAC championship game. Thank you for being able to put us on national television and embarrass you in front of all your fans, Cowboys fans, Falcons fans, people that watched your show at some point, people that saw you as that was the dude wearing the afro backpedaling at the NFL Combine. Thank you, brother, for allowing Preview to have that spotlight and setting us up for success. So I appreciated it. I love everything that you've done for HBCU and SWAC football, and I'm ready to kick y'all's ass in front of a national audience. So yeah, game ball to
But I hope
Deion.
Deion don't see this.
You saw what he did to the Alabama A&M coach.
This is my second time. This is my second time. This is my second time this week talking to Deion. So, I can speak on it personally. Everybody in this locker room feel the same way about what I'm saying right now. I'm just bold enough to say it on wax because you feel me? It is what it is. We're not hiding from expectation. We're not dodging no smoke. We see the schedule. We see the rankings. And it's going to be even more sweet for it to be somebody that's going to be getting national recognition versus just Alabama A&M, another SWAC, a regular quote unquote SWAC school. So we're ready for that shit, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. We'll talk to you after the game for sure.
We're gonna play, I mean, we're both 6 and it would really be hard. We would both have to lose multiple games to not go to the SWAC championship because they're on the East, we're in the West. So I ain't playing. I'm ready to kick dude ass.
Say, listen, man, we'll see if you're really bad. And we just make sure you keep that same energy, no matter what the score is when we get on the pod after. And so
it's gonna be a score in the favor of PV. You ain't got to worry about it. So all the energy will be the same, if not more.
All right, bro. Last time I checked, PV couldn't beat Millsaps. But with that, we finna close this episode out, man. We're gonna close this episode out. We're going to wrap it up. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual things. And
Man,
with that,
for real. Your boy has started an internship at ESPNU, Channel 84, Sirius XM. So you can catch me on there. Whenever you get in the car, I don't know, some of y'all broke boys might not got Sirius XM. They gave it to your boy as an employee of the company. So donate for my login. Big opportunity. And I'm getting to work with people that I've seen and heard on TV and the radio for years. So, I'm enjoying it. But you can catch me over there, Channel 84, Sirius XM, ESPNU Radio.
that's big time, brother. Congrats.
Man, appreciate y'all.
And so with that, bro, I'll end this episode on a high note. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and we out of here.
Bow.